Yeah, when they're releasing that information in Thai, is there a translation issue and a meaning issue from Thai to English? Because, for example, in Australia or Canada, any type of news or policy that comes out, it's pretty direct, and the language is very, you cannot interpret it A or B.
Right.
How could you explain maybe on Thai policy, Thai regulation, any type of news they release, the issues with translation and understanding meaning?
There's the words that are said sometimes are sort of couched in ways that are very Thai. They're sort of generally polite. There's no direct messaging. You sort of got to walk around 3 or 4 sentences to understand exactly what they mean. So if you just do a Google Translate of a Thai written story or a speech, it doesn't really make any sense. That's partly a Google algorithm problem. But beyond that, when you get a translator there and you read the translation from them, you've got to sort of put 3 or 4 sentences together to get one sentence to understand exactly what they mean. So there's a cultural situation there. And I think we were quite good with the way we were able to sort of get to the nub of the issues and say, look, this is what they said, but this is actually what's going to happen. And I think we've been proved to be fairly correct. I think we've been able to increase our reputation by not only just reporting what's being said, but reporting what is actually being meant.
Was there like a process or an audit or a fact check that you could take up, meaning you're translating it from Thai to English, and are you able to go back to those governing bodies and say, hey, this is what you've wrote, this is what we've interpreted, is this correct?
Well, we'd have to wait for weeks because we'd never get the news out if we had to do that. So, look, I mean, over some 45,000 stories which have gone out under my watch, we've probably had to recant 4 of them that I can sort of remember where we've actually made a mistake, and that mistake has been made because something was misreported or it was reported and then retracted by the person that said it, and we left it out there. So we've actually had a pretty good strike rate, more through serendipity and good luck than anything else. But we did have processes in place, and we used to have to adapt and change those. It used to be up to me just to make sure I read every word that was going out there, read the comments from time to time, and sometimes people said, well, that's actually wrong. What they said was da-da-da, and you go and check and you go, oh, yeah, you're right, actually. It could even be a spelling mistake that gives a whole different meaning to the sentence. But facts matter. And I was always, if nothing else, very insistent that we get the facts right. So that does take sometimes, you've got to get 3 or 4 sources. You have to check beyond the Canadian or the Australian media, and you just need to double check and read a few different sources to make sure that's exactly what was meant.